Galair, and welcome to the Loaf of Bread GAA podcast, slicing into the GAA of the past, present and future. Join me, Jason Keelan, as we cut into the largest loaf of bread known to mankind.
Hello, Diegwich, bonjour, ni hao, konnichiwa, guten tag and privyet to you all wherever you're listening in. What started as a message to 10 clubs has now expanded to more than 50 clubs globally from all continents. The journey through Loaf 2 GAA Global continues this week as we move on to our next destination in the GAA world. So come with me on the GAA journey of a lifetime and meet clubs from Canada to Argentina, South Africa to Gibraltar, Bermuda to the North Pole, New Zealand to Kuwait, Knoxville to Qatar, and literally everywhere in between. So grab the passports, grab the bags, it's time to go. Hey everybody, and welcome to Loaf 2 GAA Global on the Loaf of Bread GAA podcast. On Slice 17, I say thanks to the guys from Barcelona and travel west to the beautiful Philadelphia in the US of A. Here I meet with Melissa, Brian and Tiarnan to find out all about the Na Toraidhe Hurling Club in Philly. We chat all about the American take on hurling and camogie, local rivalries, being Junior C US champions, Tiarnan playing in Philly as a child, the pitch being called the playground, Shania Twain music in the club, two hands on the hurl, Tiarnan's mother playing county, her influence on the club and in goal, and of course the important choices, like Philly man Kevin Hart or Irish legend Chris O'Dowd, Pat Oliveri who created the Philly cheesesteak, or Pat McDonagh who created Supermacs, or the real question, Rocky Balboa or Katie Taylor. But first, as usual, let's have a wander through the city of Philadelphia and see how our trip to the famous nation goes. Bon Sultas. As we land into the city of brotherly love, the literal translation of the city's name, we are greeted by the sounds of jazz legend Eleanor Fagan, better known as Billie Holiday. But in the background now you will hear the song Them Golden Slippers, the theme of the local masked actors, the Mummers. There is much more to this city than just what us Irish might know as a cream cheese. Philly is the largest city in the state of Pennsylvania. It was in 1682 that English Quaker William Penn founded the city, of which he is also the namee from the state. When a ship of African slaves arrived in 1688, the locals, including Penn, were very unsettled. Eventually, the first ever petition against slavery was signed in 1688, perhaps the first in the world, let alone America. Penn State was seen as a great place to be. A young man moved to the area and became a publisher for the local newspaper. His name was Benjamin Franklin. The city is home to the country's foundation also, as it was the home meeting point for the founding fathers of the 13 colonies, Franklin, Adams, Washington, Madison and others. On the 4th of July 1776, the Philadelphians were the first to hear the Declaration of Independence being read. Exactly 1 century later, suffragette Susan B. Anthony would deliver the Declaration of Rights for Women in the city. Philly even became the nation's capital when Washington, D.C. was under its construction. The earliest settlers were the Danish and the Swedish newcomers. Southwark and the North Liberties became major homes for wood yards and coal, while the Kensington area became important for steel. Around 1831, the first aspects of the railroad arrived in the area covering Philly, Germanstown and Norristown. Even today, aspects of the line, including the Reading Line, are still important. The city is famous for many things today. Independence Hall, the home of the Declaration of Independence, remains a protected entity and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The Liberty Bell, famous for its notions around the end of slavery, is a key monument in the city. Not to be confused with the Liberty Bells, the Philadelphia Eagles cheerleaders of course. Visiting the famed steps from the Rocky film in 1976 is a key moment for any fan. In fact, the love for the great Rocky is matched in the city perhaps only by Pope Francis. The world meeting of families in the city brought thousands to see the main man, and he has continued to be enshrined within the city. In sport, Philly is famed for several globally known teams. 4 cities in the US have a representative team from all of the major US leagues within the country, and Philly is one of those. In NBA, the 76ers provide the entertainment courtside, but have no NBA championship since 1983. Some of the great names from the 76ers will be the likes of Wilt Chamberlain, Allen Iverson, Julius Erving, and now commentator Charles Barkley. The Flyers skate their way across the ice in Philly, but have no Stanley Cup since the back-to-back in 74 and 75. Eric Lindros is perhaps their best-known Hall of Famer from the 90s. The famous Phillies provide the home runs on the baseball field. In 2008, the locals were able to celebrate in style as the Phillies won only their second ever World Series title, beating the Tampa Bay Rays 4-1 in the only ever World Series game to be postponed and restarted again due to the weather. Mike Schmidt and Steve Carlton would be among their greats. And finally, to the Eagles. On the 4th of February 2018, the team entered the Super Bowl against the multiple winners of the New England Patriots. Despite being massive underdogs, the Philly lads took the game to the Patriots and incredibly came out on top by 41-33. It was their first ever Super Bowl win and meant the city celebrations continued on from the Phillies' baseball success the previous year. Na Toraidhe GAA in Philly is a hurling and camogie club based in the city. Toraidhe is the Irish for pursuers. The club is part of the Philly GAA board and comprises players from the city, nearby Delaware and New Jersey. The club takes huge pride in being the only hurling club within the city. The likes of Allentown and DC Gales would be some of the competition for them, and they continue to go from strength to strength each year. And so to that end, it's time to find out more about the club. So let's get to Philadelphia and chat to Brian, Melissa and Tiarnan and find out all about life in the Philly GAA scene.
Hey, how are you?
Brian,
how are you? Hi, how are you? I'm Jason. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Hey, doing well, thanks. And yourself?
Yeah, I'm good, yeah. How are things over there?
Oh, good.
How's all in Philadelphia?
Oh, good.
Hey, Melissa.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
How's all in Philadelphia in your end?
Fine. It's actually like pretty rainy today, so
Yes, we're winning here in Ireland. It's not raining. One of the 90-something days a year that it doesn't rain is today. So
got it. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys must have sent it to us, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I say it's not raining as in it hasn't rained in the last 15-20 minutes, so
There you go.
that's a huge positive. Yeah. I can see what the sun looks like. What's there to do in Philly? What can I expect apart from Philly cheesesteak? We'll talk about that after.
There's a lot to do here. I feel like I don't know. I'm from Pittsburgh originally, which is across Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff to do in Pittsburgh as well. But Philly's a pretty big city. There's a lot of stuff to do here, I think.
Mario Lemieux, am I on the right team?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mario Lemieux, Yammer.
I go back a long way. Yammer.
Yeah, back in the 90s there.
Yeah. Back on PlayStation 1, NHL 96. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
That's it. That's
I go back a long way. Yeah. Sorry, Steelers are football, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah. It's good football, yeah.
How did you, Brian? How did you get into the hurling over there?
So I went to Ireland back in 2010 and just doing research for the trip and stuff. Wanted to check out some form of a sport. I assumed it was going to be more like soccer or whatever, but then, after doing research, I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool. And, so we actually tried to make it out to a match, but then nothing ended up coordinating with our schedule and everything. So then I remember we went on, while we were over there, we were Googling like what we could make it out to. And there was like I don't know, U16 girls camogie match or something like that that we found. We had to take like a bus, then a transfer just to get to this, and but yeah, from then on I was like, I would love to play this sport, but I was like, there's nothing like this in America. A couple months later, I go to an Irish festival and there was a Pittsburgh team at the tent. So
nice.
And the rest is kind of history. So like 2010, 2011.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Do you remember? You don't remember what the under-16 team that was playing at the time was? No.
Oh no! Yeah, no.
Or even what part of Ireland were you in?
It was the only like Irish grounds I've really experienced. So, but it was really nice. They had like a nice clubhouse and everything, but I don't know what it was.
Okay, sounds pretty cool. Yeah. Melissa, how did were you in the same boat in 2010 or?
No, I'm actually the newest person on the team amongst us here. But kind of similarly to Brian, I took a trip to Ireland. I was actually in Kilkenny, and they had a hurling tour. So we went to the Kilkenny Cats Stadium, and like some guy showed us how to hold a hurley. And, I was interested in it, but similarly to Brian, I was like, oh, I don't think there's anything like that in Philly. And then, a couple years later, a coworker's boyfriend was like, oh yeah, I'm on this team, Na Toraidhe in Philly. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, we had a hurling team the entire time. So yeah, I came out to a practice. I think my first one was like in April of 2018 or something. And so that was it. That's history.
Kind of got from there. Yeah. How did the club name come about? It's a rather unusual one to pick, like the results as the translation of the name of your club. So
at least how I understand the translation is it's the pursuer, which is like an Irish rebellion. I was told in 1798, because I was talking to the guy that founded the club. He was saying it was wait, are we like live right now, or are we recording or no?
Oh yeah, go for it. Yeah. Okay. This is your history lesson time.
I don't want him hearing this and being like, oh, I knew what I was talking about.
No, it's okay.
So he said it was from the 1798 rebellion in Ireland. But then I was doing a little bit more research after he had mentioned that, and then I had seen it back in even the 1600s. But yeah, it's like the pursuer is how he saw it as, and yeah, he was saying that the 1798 rebellion was kind of after the American Revolution, and kind of try to take on some of those same things. So he just thought it was a pretty cool name.
Nice, I'm impressed. Yeah.
The wee mascot.
What's the mascot?
The pike man. If you see the jerseys, the new jerseys made, there was the pike man on the back of it.
Oh, I have to have a look. I haven't seen the jersey yet. No, I'll have to.
Oh, they're beautiful. Like.
Yeah, I'll have to have a nosy at that. Yeah, are you wearing? Is that an Armagh top, Tiarnan?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
What part of Armagh are you from originally?
Armagh City. Big hurling stronghold,
Hurling stronghold in Armagh, exactly. Yeah. Where all the great hurlers come from. Yeah. Oh yes. No, I'm impressed, Brian, with your, considering I've just released 2 history books for schools. I'm pretty impressed with your little bit of history there. Yeah, that's nice. I've definitely got to keep that in. Yeah, the founder of the club will definitely be impressed. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've done a good job. Yes. Tiarnan, how did you end up from Armagh to Philadelphia?
I was actually born in Philly, believe it or not.
No way.
And I played on this team when I was a cub. I was about 12 or 13. I was playing for them when they were called the Shamrocks. And then we moved home. My mother shipped us all home, and then played hurling at home, played a little bit of county, played at school. We actually won a Casement Cup, and then moved back out here like a year or 2 ago.
Right. And what was the county career like?
Not too bad. We got to the Christie ring a few times, but we were always mid table. We were never up there. Like Mayo always give us a tough going, and Charlo and those kind of teams. But
did you ever go up against Westmeath? Just Christie ring, when you mentioned it, I was just thinking Armagh Christie ring is kind of where Westmeath's level has been. Yeah.
Once or twice, yeah.
Yeah. I've been to a lot of Westmeath Christie ring games over the years, so yeah, that would be our level. Yeah. Melissa and Brian, are you familiar with the Christie ring cup at all?
Nah, not really.
What would we call it, Tier 2, I suppose, with it?
Yeah.
We call it tier 2. It's basically it's not Kilkenny and Galway and Tipperary and Limerick. It's the next bunch of teams basically. So it's kind of like where I would put the Broncos in football, somewhere sort of around the middle. They're definitely not any good, but they're not that shitty either. So yeah.
I think that's an accurate assessment.
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah. What's the membership, Melissa, like in the club at the moment then?
Well, right now the club membership is like probably the best it's been since I've been a part of it, for sure. And of course, for me, like playing camogie, every year it's like, okay, please, can we get like a couple more girls to come out? And like yesterday we had, I think 8 girls at practice, which is like amazing. So, I think it's definitely gaining traction. And I think, all of us were kind of worried with COVID, like what would happen with the club, but everybody was just kind of sitting in the wings waiting to say like, hey, when we're ready to play again, let's play. And, we do like a winter league in February and into March just to scrimmage and things like that. And the first winter league, scrimmage we had a ton of people come out. So it was like really exciting to see. And, I think it means lots of good things for years to come, hopefully, with getting people to come out and play and learn the sport.
Yeah. And what, Brian, must the men's side and the hurling like? What's the uptake?
Yeah, we've been doing really well in terms of numbers and everything on the hurling side as well. Since I've been part of the Philly club since I think 2013, and we've ebbed and flowed slightly. Always had a strong first team, but numbers are looking like we might be able to have kind of an A and B team this year. Numbers keep up and everything, and we keep on getting all the boys out there and everything. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, it seems pretty good. Yeah, Tiarnan, there's your Instagram page a little while ago actually had pictures up from training. Am I right? Did I misread it? Is it called the playground?
The Mander playground. Yeah.
The Mander playground. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just saw playground and I kind of. Is that a permanent fixture for you, or because I saw goals in the background? Is it permanent, or is it like council thing that you got to rent? Or
it's probably the best we could get in the city with the right goalposts and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the best part of the city now, but it's close. It's Philadelphia and everybody can make training there, so it works for us anyway.
And it isn't
not too many holes in the middle of the field.
So. Yeah, it's not a proper Irish road out to it, so yeah, if it doesn't have a few holes in the road, yeah. Is the commute like across the city and stuff tricky for you guys? Because some people I know clubs have had problems lately with people having to move out of cities and the commute is becoming an hour or more, and some people have kind of given up on it. It's not a problem, Brian, for you guys, is it?
Well, so yeah, we've been kind of on a constant evaluation in terms of field, in terms of quality, location, everything like that. We used to play up in the northern parts of Philly for our weekly training, and it was just tough for people that live south in Philly to make the journey north, or if you're coming from Jersey, southern Jersey is really close to Philly, so southern Jersey up to northern Philly is pretty tough. So this is kind of where we've settled in terms of the best quality, has the uprights, but it's also relatively central to everybody.
Okay, yeah. So it's not too bad. Melissa, it's not a bad commute for you then, obviously, is it?
No, it's actually, I think just because, again, I mean, I would say we're a pretty close knit group, and I think people, again, like are really motivated to come out. So people are willing to make the hike for it, which, for some it's short, some it's long, but it's definitely worth it.
That sounds
good. I know some years I've been, I was in charge of bringing PVC pipe back and forth from trainings, and then we would duct tape it to the soccer goal post. So actually having uprights that are a fixture of the field is kind of nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, you could go back to the old, and there was many clubs like more than a century ago where the posts were actually on the ground to the side, like in Australian rules. So if you just wanted to be lazy, you could go back to the old ways of like a century ago. So Tiarnan, who are your main rivals then?
There's only actually one other senior hurling team in Philly, so Allentown. So that would be a big rivalry for us. We have to play them a handful of times every year, you know what I mean? So it's always a big day out for us. But once then goes to North Americans, it's really you can play anybody. So we don't know really rivals outside of the city, I wouldn't say. But Allentown would definitely be the main ones.
And what's the record like against them?
It's getting better. It's getting better. Whenever we first got here, it wasn't the best, but now it's starting. I think it changed hands last year. I think we were the better club in Philadelphia.
What about the national games? What's the record like?
We just won the last national games that were in Virginia. We won a national championship. We won the Junior C, was it?
Yep, Junior C. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We won the Junior C championship, and actually we did well. I think we played every game very well.
That's pretty good.
This year will be Junior B, and hopefully do something there in Junior B as well.
Junior B is the standard in Ireland that everyone aspires to be at, really, because it's the one that has the most fun, I think, of all the standards. So, yeah, definitely, yeah.
If that's what you consider in Ireland, just think about what Junior C is.
Yeah.
I'd be quite happy as somebody who really is not able to hurl at all. I'd quite happily play in junior C if I was able to. I don't think I'd be able for it, to be honest. What's the sponsorship, Brian, like out there for you guys?
In terms of people helping out, and I mean it's been a little tricky with COVID and everything. Just prior to the start of 2020, we had probably more sponsors than we knew what to do with. We were talking about getting sponsorship for jerseys and practice gear and so on and so forth. And then now it's kind of, in fairness, we haven't really been reaching out to too many places just because we know everybody is probably struggling a little bit. So we were just kind of, this year we got some new jerseys that I think Tiarnan actually put that together, and they're looking really nice, but no sponsor or anything. Just
so you haven't adopted the Armagh colours yet, by the sounds of it.
But in the past, like the
club used to be orange white, believe it or not.
I knew you'd jump in there somewhere. Yeah, I knew you'd say that somewhere. Yeah. Sorry, Melissa, I cut you off there. Sorry.
We used X gear. I don't know.
No worries.
No.
Yeah,
I was going to say that, like, a lot of the sponsorship, it's a good opportunity for us to, like, also feature like local businesses. Like our one sponsor this year for the Winter League was Punch Buggy Brewing in Philly. And it's like a small brew pub, but it's a good place for us to all hang out. And just in Philly, like there's a great like beer scene and everything. So it's a good opportunity for us to kind of feature that too.
Yeah, shocking that a hurling club would also be on the beer scene. It's incredible. Yeah. So since you mentioned it now, Melissa, what's the celebrations like generally after a win or a loss?
Well, regardless, we usually make our way to some place. But like it's a good opportunity. We pick a place that's fairly close by. We all get together if we can come out, and usually the sponsor bars make their money back with us coming there to party and stuff like that. So yeah.
That sounds good. Yeah, sounds like a proper Irish setup you got going there. Yeah. Tiarnan, have you introduced the guys to the Sunday game?
A handful of them. There's a couple of ways of training that just started that I've sent them a few of Brian Walsh and stuff from Cork, and just showing them a few things. But everyone's coming on great. The numbers this year have been savage. We've had like 25 to 30 people training every time. You know what I mean? And it's easier then to show people how to play that way when you've got like 10 or so. You can't do drills. You can't do matches. But everybody's coming along leaps and bounds.
You've really, saw from the Instagram picture, you're training them in proper Irish conditions because nice long grass. Don't want to cut too short, want to make it nice and difficult. Let's learn the hard way kind of thing. Yeah. No, your numbers at the training picture, in fairness, look pretty good. So, because there's some clubs I've chatted to around the world who are struggling now to get 7 on a team. And I've had to even pull out of competitions and stuff because they don't feel they'll be able to keep the numbers up. So you guys are definitely on the right track now by the sounds of it. Yet, Brian, have you adopted a county in Ireland, I should say, for hurling yet?
I have, yeah. So I'm with County Cork.
Okay, that's not so bad. I can deal with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it was my last name's Sullivan, and so when I was doing my research to come on a trip to Ireland, I was like, I wonder where most Sullivans come from, and it looked like Kerry and Cork. Primarily, and then Kerry is more of a football county, so I figured I'd go with Cork.
Yeah, well, Kerry is Christy Ring hurling, I suppose, like myself and Tiernan's kind of counties. They would be that level, yeah. Sullivan, definitely Cork, and maybe I would associate O'Sullivan with Kerry. So, yeah, you're definitely in the right lines, yes. Melissa, have you adopted a camogie county yet?
Not yet, no.
I'll suggest Westmeath to you if you want to go back and listen to I think it's episode 4 of this podcast. You'll hear the Westmeath All Ireland camogie winners. They are nuts. They're great crack. Yeah. So I think you should take them. Yeah, we'll get you a camogie jersey sent over from Westmeath. I think we'll have to. Definitely. Yeah. What have you made? Have you watched much camogie over the years or?
A bit here and there. It's not like the easiest thing to get on TV in the US. But I've watched a bit here and there. They actually, what was it? So it must have been the fall of 2019. They had the All-Star team come and play in Gaelic Park up in New York.
Yep.
So like our team in Baltimore did a little scrimmage together, and then the all-star team came out and played against each other, and that was a lot of fun to see.
Yeah. I probably should have to ask you because I know what it is, but a lot of people are going to use the word scrimmage a few times. A lot of people here who don't follow American football are going to be like, "What the hell is that?" Do you want to explain what scrimmage means to you guys?
Well, I mean, a scrimmage is basically like you're playing the people on your team. It's just like you guys kind of split up. Like usually we throw hurleys in a pile and we like just figure out teams that way.
Backs and forwards, just
back and forwards. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, what we would know it as. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I doubt, Tiarnan, the answer for this has been a solid kind of no so far because of different laws outside of Ireland. But I presume you haven't got to go around with the club lotto tickets, selling 3 for a $5 to people at the bar or anything like that in true Irish style. No.
No, not yet. No. I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
But we're not as locked up as everybody is at home. You know,
you're not, are you not?
No. We're still, like, pubs are still open. Yeah, for a while there, you had to buy food, but now that's gone, I think. And now they've got all these outside tents, so you're basically sitting outside.
Yeah.
You know, but you're still allowed to be out in the pub. It does make sense, but that's the way it's been going for a while. Like.
It's slightly easier than here by the sounds of it. So, yeah. Brian, I'll put this one to you first, and Melissa and Tiarnan can come back on this one and see. I've asked every club so far. Every GAA club has their traditional Irish lunatic. So, is there a lunatic in Philly that? And Tiernan's already looking away from the camera. He's like,
I think he might be looking at one of them.
It's not me.
Well, he's one of them, but yeah, of course. But probably maybe Patty. Would you say, Tiernan?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Tell us about Patty. So.
Go ahead, Brian.
Brian, you have to tell us about Patty. So.
I'm not sure you're old enough.
Me, thanks. I'll take that as a compliment if you think of that young. I'm probably the oldest one here by the looks of it. So, where does Paddy come from?
T.
Paddy's from Dungannon, Tyrone man, good Tyrone man, you know.
Okay, so wouldn't be a hurling stronghold. Would definitely be a footballer. Yeah,
but I like to run your mouth stronghold. That's what Tyrone is, you know.
The rivalries really coming out, you know. You know you had your Armagh jersey on, yes. And what's Paddy's? Has he got is there a stereotype of, you know, hitting people off the ball, or is it just mad stories, or?
A wee bit of both. Probably more so mad stories off the field. Like.
Okay.
Girls just want to have fun.
Yeah, that's his favourite song.
Okay, because the next question, ironically, I was going to ask, is there a club karaoke song of choice?
Yeah. Well, I think after the Nationals win, Man, I Feel Like a Woman by Shania Twain was very popular. There are multiple videos after the game of people just drunken stupor singing this song all together. It's great.
Okay, I like that one. So yeah, we'll take that as your song, definitely.
Yeah.
Tiarnan will be familiar, but Brian or Melissa, I have to ask: have either of you guys been introduced to Irish GAA pundit Marty Morrissey?
Yes.
And what's your opinion of him, Brian?
I can't say I've been introduced enough to have an opinion, but I've been introduced.
Okay.
I know. I love the image of him look like punting the Gaelic football.
Okay.
I don't know. I love that image.
Okay, Tiarnan, I think you need to do some work on introducing him to the Marty party. Yeah.
Marty in a spray tan.
Yeah, Marty in a spray tan, exactly, yeah. So Melissa and Brian, I think we've got a homework for you is to look up the Marty party because you learn so much from that guy. It's unbelievable, yeah. Melissa, do you remember your debut for the club?
My debut for the club.
Yeah.
It was in the tournament in Allentown. I probably got 3 fouls. I don't know. I played terribly. I just remember I kept getting fouled. And Bobby Rea who was a guy on our team a few years back. He was reffing our game. He's like, Melissa, come on. And I'm like, I barely know the rules of this. You just told me to get, be aggressive. Don't let them get the ball. And I don't know what's a block to the back or a chop or anything. Now I do, but that first game, it was not pretty. I
would say there's a lot of people in Ireland who would say that's a pretty impressive debut. 3 fouls, touching down.
I think that will go down pretty well in most hurling clubs and camogie clubs over here. Yeah, I think you've done all right. Yeah, Brian,
Right,
do you remember yours, Brian? Or
I don't remember my first match with Philly, but I remember my first match with Pittsburgh. I'd been playing literally for about a week, so it sounds about like Melissa's situation. And I remember diving, like I was like just falling with the ball, and I was diving, and I ended up swinging one-handed and scoring bottom right corner
nice.
in the goal. And like I got up, and then it was like, no, 2 hands on the hurl, 2 hands on the hurl. I was like, I just scored a goal, isn't that good? Like, so.
So yeah, they weren't happy that you'd scored. They just want you to hold the hurl, correct? Okay, yeah. Sounds like a proper Irish GAA coach, yeah, by the sound of it, yeah. Tiarnan, your debut could have been when you were 2 or 3, by the sounds of it, if you were born out there and lived out there.
Yeah. My ma was a big camogie player in Armagh. She would have been on kitey and stuff like that. So whenever she moved out, there wasn't many hurling clubs in Philly. I actually had to play for an underage team in New York.
Oh.
But like every day, I was out the back, running up and down the backyard, and bouncing the ball and the stick and all, So it was always in my blood. And then, then my mother actually started her own club called the Shamrocks Youth, which was a feeder to our senior club back in the day, because Na Toraidhe used to be Shamrocks.
Yeah.
And then whenever we moved back to Ireland, that was really it. Then I just started playing at home.
And what was Mum's name that she played for Armagh? What was her name?
Jacqueline Donnelly.
Donnelly, a great name up that part of the world. Yeah, yeah. I'll have to check Jacqueline Donnelly. Okay,
give her a look up there.
Yeah,
she's still known to play for Philly's goalie in camogie, right?
Yeah.
Okay. For the finals that year, she came out and did nets, so she did.
No, did she?
Yes, she did.
And then the wee sister was doing full forward, and then me and the other 2 brothers were playing the senior team.
Is it unfair of me to ask what age was she when she was in goals that she came back?
Maybe 50, I think.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
And she's probably the best player on the team as well. She came back as well. Yeah. She just turns up and she's just shouting abuse at everyone for not doing things right because she's played county and she knows better. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah. Melissa or Brian, have you guys been introduced to? I ask every club if they've been introduced to Father Ted.
No.
Heard of Father Ted? Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's a start anyway. Yeah, you haven't got any. It's probably unfair to ask then. Have you got any favorite moments from it or anything yet?
Yeah, I mean, my mom was watching it a while back, and like she was quoting things here and there, but I know of it, but like
Actually, did you send out a meme the other day with him?
Oh, okay. This is a start.
Oh yeah.
It was like, I think it's raining out there or something.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, okay, we're on to something. Yeah, that's a good start, yeah. Tiarnan, part 2 of your homework then is to introduce them properly to Father Ted. So you've a list of stuff you have to do after this, yeah. Who would you guys, say Brian? Write it down, yeah. Brian, who would you say is the toughest team you've ever come up against, either with Philly or with Pittsburgh?
Well, as Tiarnan was saying, I mean, Allentown's always our most competitive matches on a, strictly like we're always going neck and neck. Like some years they're up, some years, we're up, and some years we're just right in the middle. But also in our travels, like to New York, Boston, we've played some clubs that, we're almost entirely Irish or American born rather. We probably have like, what would you say, T, like 3 to 5 Irish born players right now.
Yeah,
we're almost all American born.
2 or 3 in the women.
Well, okay.
And we played some, New York teams that it's you're lucky if you can find the ball,
Yeah. Melissa, is it same for the camogie side then? Allentown as well.
Yeah, I think they're like I think the interesting thing about like at least the camogie teams that I've played up until this point is that they are mostly American. I mean, the New York teams, it's a little bit different. Like there's definitely more Irish represented, but even when we went to nationals this past time, in 2019, we played the New York team, but there were plenty of American girls on those teams as well. And I think, I think in the States, well, at least around this area, like, field hockey, lacrosse, these are all very popular sports. So it's like a very natural crossover for a lot of women and girls after high school and college. So, I think there's definitely more of an American presence, at least in the teams that I've played. But yeah, New York is always like a little trickier just because they do tend to have more Irish. On the team, so,
naturally enough. Yeah, cool. Yeah, Tiarnan, is there a youth setup or any chance of it starting up if there is someone?
And there's the Dalco Gales now in Philly have a big, massive backing. So they do. They have camogie teams, hurling teams, underage football teams. They're big. Glenside, closer to me, they've just started maybe a couple of years ago. They're getting bigger and bigger. I think that's really it around Philly right now for the underage.
Okay, so you've got it going though, which is a big thing. Like a lot of clubs who would.
I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old daughter, and they both just started this year playing some camogie and Gaelic. So,
they with Dalco, were they?
Yeah, they're with Dalco. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's deadly. Yeah, because there's a lot of clubs like would give their left arm to be in the position that you guys are in, I suppose, with a good setup like that. So yeah, it's that's really impressive. Yeah, Brian, there's one kind of couple of last questions I throw at everybody, and then there's a couple of special quickfire Philadelphia questions as well. So see how Tiarnan goes with those as well. Have you got, Brian, a favorite GA player kind of in your lifetime that you've ever come across that just stood out for you?
I think whenever I first started watching any kind of hurling, Henry Shefflin and TJ Reed, they were both like at the top of their games. Well, TJ Reed still kind of is, but you know what I mean? So I'd say those guys probably. Yeah,
he's a pain in the arse, TJ Reed. He ruins every game scoring too much. Melissa, is there a favorite player that you've come across?
I know almost nothing about like players or I couldn't name anybody in particular. So I'm kind of shit out of luck with that question. Sorry.
So Tiarnan Donnelly is your answer there. I'll take that. So yeah. And Tiarnan as an Armagh man, as a hurler, but is it more Francie Bellew, Oisin McConville, Stevie McDonald?
I have a few favorite hurlers. Like Satanto Helping would have been one of my favorites watching growing up. And Sean Ogle Helping, and then Dan the man from Waterford would have been one of my favorites as well. He was the man back in the day.
Someone in the news here the other day said Dan the man is potentially back training with his club or something like that. Yeah, I don't know what age he is now, but 40 odd.
The way he played it, he still could play. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just that edge of the square, just causing ruckus and the edge of the square, just.
Yeah, he's the dream forward. Yeah, just starting fights. Yeah, that's kind of what you want really on a good team. Yeah, he's like who was the guy that he said was the kind of lunatic Paddy? Is it?
Paddy.
He's the Waterford version of Paddy. So yeah, definitely. Okay, so we've got a few good choices there. There's a few questions I'll throw at you. Philadelphia quickfire ones. Every club so far has got special localized questions. Now, don't worry, it's not history questions or anything. You'll see with the first question what they're like. So,
all right.
Tiarnan, I'm going to throw the first one to you. So, I'm mixing up the Philly history here. So, you can choose between the famous Philly Quaker William Penn or Father Dougal Maguire. Massive choice.
I'm going to take Father Ted. Sorry.
Father Ted, nice. Yeah. I'll go for Melissa. I'll ask you this one. You can choose between the famous Philly cheesesteak or an Irish breakfast roll, if you've been shown what that is. Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm partial to cheesesteak, so I think I have to go with a cheesesteak. Now, obviously, like, you're asking a Philly person about a cheesesteak, it has to be like, where exactly does it come from? Which, yeah, that's a whole debate. So if it was a D'Alessandro's cheesesteak, I would go with that in a heartbeat.
Okay, yeah, I'm a big fan of watching the old reruns of Man vs. Food, and yeah, the Philly cheesesteak has come up a couple of times. So yeah, it's something I definitely will try. Yeah. Brian, I'll ask you this one. This is a real Irish question because since we've started talking, it has started to lash rain. So this is a very apt question. You can choose between It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia or the Irish rainy weather.
Yeah, wait, I'm sorry. This might be a terrible question. Is the Irish rainy weather, is that a
just in general? Show? No, just I'm looking at the window at it here at the moment. So
it's last year too, so it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, it's always sunny in Philadelphia, but not right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a good show in fairness. Yeah, I've become kind of drawn into it a little bit lately. So Tiarnan, I'll ask you this one. You can choose between Philadelphia actor star Kevin Bacon or the famous Irish bacon?
Oh, I love Irish bacon. Kevin
I
bacon's not that bad too. No, I'm picking Irish bacon all day.
Yeah. Good. Okay, I'll take that.
I can really eat Kevin bacon.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can agree with that.
Yeah. Kevin Bacon's not as popular as I thought he was, maybe in Philadelphia.
I didn't even know Kevin Bacon was from Philly.
Well,
Yeah,
according to the internet, he is. I trust everything the internet says, obviously. So.
If you had to say Bradley Cooper, I might have been, a wee bit different.
Is he Philly, is he?
I think Jenkintown just outside Philly, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. You haven't tried to recruit him into play hurling yet, no?
No.
Not yet, no.
I reckon he'd be pretty handy at it. I reckon he'd be pretty good, yeah.
Once this episode goes viral, then he'll be out.
Yeah, everyone would be afraid to tackle him because of he's just this, incredibly good looking fella and nobody wants to break his jaw in case they get sued or anything. So
yeah, he's wearing a helmet.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah. The last two then, I'll see if either Melissa or Brian is familiar with this person. So another Philly comedian, Kevin Hart, or Ireland's great comedian, Chris O'Dowd / Hollywood actor as well, actually. Do you know who Chris O'Dowd is?
Passing to Tiarnan.
Okay, passing to Tiarnan. Tiarnan, you can choose Kevin Hart or Chris O'Dowd.
I love Kevin Hart now. Kevin Hart's hilarious.
Okay. Chris O'Dowd was in Bridesmaids.
What about Tommy Tiernan? I think Tommy Tiernan's funnier than Chris O'Dowd.
Yeah, I had Tommy Tiarnan in another one, so I wanted to mix it up a bit. So.
All right.
Oh, he was the guy in Bridesmaids?
Yeah.
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 He's good.
He is.
Yeah, he's good.
He's very funny. You should definitely look him up. He is actually, there is a good YouTube video of him playing in a Connacht Gaelic football final underage. He was actually the goalkeeper for Roscommon, and there's a great clip of him playing before he became a multimillionaire Hollywood star. So definitely one to look up. Yeah, Chris O'Dowd in goals for Roscommon. You can't miss it. The last one I'll ask to the three of you because I've zero idea what this actually is. I didn't get time to look it up, but you can choose between the St. Patrick's Day Festival or the Mummers Festival. Is that right? Whatever the hell that is.
I'll let them two answer that one.
Okay. It looked funny. It looked interesting. There's a lot of costume and stuff in it, but what is it?
Oh, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure. I mean, I would definitely go St. Patty's Day Parade, but the Mummers is one of these kind of funny Philly traditions that everybody eye rolls at, but God forbid if they said we're not doing it this year. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Is it just a party, is it?
Yeah, it's a New Year's Day parade. There's like all sorts of clubs in Philly. I don't remember what they're called, but they rehearse this stuff for months. They put on these elaborate costumes and, New Year's Day, you go out, you drink and, have some hair of the dog or whatever it's called. And just watch some guys dance around in sequins. So.
But they're all drinking and they've been on the sauce for hours and will continue for another 24. It's an experience. I would have to go St. Patty's as well. Yeah.
Okay.
That's always a great time. We march in the parade and everything. That's a lot of fun.
Brilliant. Yeah. Tiarnan, you haven't got to take part in the Mummers Festival yet, no?
Not yet. I'm practicing. I'll be there next year, right?
Definitely. Okay, we'll hold you to that one. Yeah. Right before I let you go, he's abroad. Can your stuff? I can see O'Neill's on, and I presume your stuff can be bought on O'Neill's then.
Yeah.
That's what O'Neill's. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll direct everybody to O'Neill. So, and Brian, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before I let you guys go?
I would just like to thank the Academy. No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, good. We thank the Academy. So, yes, Melissa, is there anyone you want to say hi to? Her?
I don't know, just to say hi to the club. I hope everybody on the team listens to at least part of this.
Okay, sounds good. Yep. And you're now an honorary Westmeath camogie fan as well. We have to point that one out.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I'll check that episode out for sure.
Yeah, do, yeah. And Tiarnan, anyone you want to say hello to? Is there anyone back home still, or are they all over there?
Oh, yeah, all my family's back home. I'll say hello to my mom, wee brother, wee sister. But mainly, if this goes out there, I want people to see. Because every time I'm out, I'm showing people hurling. I'm trying to get more and more people, lacrosse players, football players to play. So I want to say hello to them people that don't know what hurling is yet. I want them to look it up and figure it out and get out to training on Tuesday night or Thursday night.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyone who turns up to Philadelphia Airport, you will be greeted with a sign and a hurl to the next the next time you turn up. So, okay, that's a good way. Yeah, that's a good way to go with it. So anyone who turns up with your ticket, you hand over your plane ticket, you exchange it for a hurl. That'll do. I'll take that. So yeah,
And a beer.
And a beer. Yeah, obviously a beer. Yes, guys. Look, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it, and I'll keep in touch with you guys. There's like, I don't know how many clubs at this stage have lost count. There's like 30, 40 clubs who are coming on. So yeah, look, the best of luck to you guys going forward, and I'll keep in touch, and I hope the rain is, no, it's not stopped here, but I hope it stops soon in Philadelphia, and
It's stopped here.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful, yes. Look, thanks so much for giving up your time. I really appreciate it, and hopefully I'll see you all in Philadelphia soon. So
Definitely.
So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, thanks guys, take it easy, mind yourselves.
Take care.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Bye. Slán, good luck.
Bye.
Coming up the next day on the Loaf of Bread GAA Global, we cut into our next slice.
But right now we're just like, we just want to play. So anybody that pretends or wants to be our rival, like we got it. I would say, I mean, if you go by location, there's clubs, as Angela said, in Orange County and San Diego. So I think you have to pick one of those. But everybody that we've played against has just been like, hey, it's okay. Like, we crushed you, but keep coming back, because we want to have that rivalry start to build over the time.
Yeah.
Denver destroyed us and then came up to us afterwards and were like, you guys did so good. Like, we can't wait to see you next year. You guys did so good. And I was like, the amount of bruises I had.
On Slide 18 next, I touch down in the wonderful Los Angeles and catch up with all the goings-on in Mulholland Los Angeles Ladies GAA Club. I chat with two of the ladies, Angela and Sam, and hear all about life in LA with the American stars of the team. We chat about relations in Anadown and Dalkey, all to do with life on the beautiful west coast of the USA, how they came to be involved in their club, the future of the GAA in the US, and what their own interest in the game in Ireland is like. That's next Thursday morning from 9 AM as we continue the journey with 2 slices a week. I'll see you at the Arrivals Hall, but until then, check out the various clubs on the Instagram page and see all the amazing work they do and some of the nicest GAA gear going. Find the podcast on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on TikTok. Email loafofbreadpod@gmail.com, or just simply hit the follow button and spread the word of the Loaf of Bread GAA pod across the globe. Slán.